How's it going, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another POV driving video. I just released the review on this 2019 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and I have to say, just the overall experience of being in it, extremely comfortable. If you're new to my channel, typically in the review I'll talk more about the specs, about like the actual numbers, safety ratings, reliability, stuff like that. So if you want to learn more about just more of that kind of informational content, definitely be sure to click like on top of the video right now, follow the link to the full review of this. But if you just want to learn about my opinions, thoughts and opinions, feeling while driving this Grand Cherokee, then keep watching this video, because this video we're just going to kind of go over basically that. We're just going to go over like my thoughts, opinions about it, just how it feels to drive it. And you could tell right now that, I mean, the overall just feeling of being inside, it's very quiet, low cabin noise, not a lot going on, and it's comfortable, it's predictable. And this is the four-wheel drive version as well, so in bad weather, I'm sure you can be very, very confident behind the wheel of this thing. Now, also, if you look around, you can see like the carbon fiber trim around. This isn't actual carbon fiber trim. It's not like the Jeep Grand Cherokees came with this from the factory or whatever. These are actually all like just interior panel covers. The owner also does have a steering wheel cover as well, but that we basically just took off for these videos. Now, one thing that I stated a little bit in the review, and I'm going to state it again here, is that a lot of times, like car enthusiasts like us, like car guys or whatever, we tend to hate those things. I mean, it's understandable because they're like, you know, cheap, like AutoZone parts or whatever. You know, you don't want to show people you have carbon fiber, but it's not really carbon fiber. I get that whole perspective. However, this is a daily driver. Obviously, it's a Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's a daily driver. It's not like it's anything crazy or whatever. But at the end of the day, with all these seat covers and everything, and the interior panel covers, it's protecting the car. And for resale value, it's probably one of the best things you can do for a daily driver, besides obviously just normal maintenance, which unfortunately a lot of people I feel like just don't do, which is kind of sad. But yeah, I mean, it gives the car like a little bit of a different look on the inside, but it also, the main purpose of it is to protect it. Moving on to the steering wheel feel, it's not like anything special. It feels like a very, very standard steering wheel. It's not like it has any kind of thumb padding or whatever here, but it is a heated steering wheel, and you can actually control that on this kind of touchscreen right here. You can also control like your heated seats, all that stuff. And this just infotainment system alone is very, very intuitive, easy to use, so many different options. You can even connect your phone, pull up navigation. So for a SUV that I guess now is 5 years old technically, it has everything that you would want in a new SUV, new daily driving vehicle. So a lot of different creature comforts in it. Just going over that pothole right there, it handles it pretty nicely. It's not like the most floaty suspension ever. It is a little bit more stiff than some like brand new SUVs, but at the end of the day, it feels fine. And just steering and handling some of like the corners back in the park there, it didn't feel terrible at all. Now, it does have the auto start stop feature, which you can turn off right here. I tend to leave that off. I just kind of stopped the car and started it up again for this video, going from the review, and I guess it just stays on automatically even if you select it off. So that's a little bit annoying to me as someone who doesn't like that feature. However, it does save on gas. And speaking about gas, again, we're not going to go into the specs or whatever, but it's a naturally aspirated V6. It's putting down 295 horsepower, around 280 foot-pounds of torque, and it gets okay fuel economy for a V6, like for a naturally aspirated V6. Yes, it's not going to be as impressive as your, you know, inline four-cylinder SUVs or obviously your hybrids or anything like that, but you can see if you, I guess, zoom in on the video or whatever, the average miles per gallon that this owner gets is around 18.5. Now that actually went down a little bit from filming this video. When I first got in it, it was at like 18.8. So it gets around like 18 miles per gallon during city driving. I think the number was 27 during the highway and for a combined average of 21. If I'm wrong, I'll edit it on the screen right now. But this 3.6 liter V6 was basically in all the different Grand Cherokees for this year, except for the SRT, which had, I believe, the same exact Hemi 6.4 liter V8 that is found in the 392 Scat Packs, Chargers, Challengers, things of that nature, and obviously the Trackhawk, which is the top of the line Grand Cherokee. That's going to have that 6.2 liter supercharged V8 from the Hellcats. So those two are beasts. I know like a 392 and something like this might not be super fast, but I'm sure it's a ton of fun. But obviously those Trackhawks are insane. And yeah, having something like that in this SUV, honestly, even just from the like little acceleration I did during the review, feeling around 300 horsepower, like it can kind of move a little bit. I know 300 horsepower is pretty much what everyone expects nowadays when looking at commuting vehicles, whether they're new cars or SUVs or trucks or whatever. Well, trucks are probably going to tend to have more power because of, you know, the workload that is expected from them. But yeah, I feel like 300 horsepower is like the norm now, which is very funny because if you go back to not even like that far away, like even like the 2000s, the 90s, you know, you would have commuting vehicles with like 100 horsepower, 150 horsepower. And now pretty much everything I feel like has right around 300 horsepower, which is, it's good, it's nice. But yeah, it's definitely something that like you can commute with, you can daily drive with, and still have that little bit, I guess, extra fun if you wanted to and no cops were around. Now moving on and kind of going through the safety, I did go ahead and like look up the IIHS crash safety test ratings for it, and it did perform poorly in one section, but only one section. Pretty much everything else across the board was the good grade. Now the good grade is the highest grade that you can get for the crash test, so it is a pretty damn safe SUV. It is kind of on the small, it's not like a full-size SUV, something like a Suburban Expedition, something like that, obviously. So it's probably like mid-size, I guess, technically classed, but there's plenty of room in the back seats, plenty of room in the trunk. I don't believe it has 3 rows of seating. This video is kind of more in a casual, opinionated light versus my reviews. In my reviews, I pretty much go over everything. And with the second row up, and I guess, again, I don't know off the top of my head if it has that 3rd row or not. I feel like it doesn't. And again, I'll correct myself while editing this video. But if there was a 3rd row and it was up, it definitely would cut down on a lot of that trunk space. But with just like the 2 rows, you know, seating 5, there's plenty of trunk space. If you have a family, if you know you have kids, they're into sports, they're into like I grew up playing hockey, so that's just a kind of comparative for me right off the bat. Hockey bags are not small, so I'm sure you could fit a couple hockey bags in it with a decent amount of people in it as well, and you guys can all still be comfortable. But anyways, I'm gonna just wrap it up now. I just had the AC pumping. My GoPro's overheating on me right now, so I'll do a quick outro. But yeah, a shorter video today. If you want to learn more about the specs and the actual numbers behind this 2019 Jeep Grand Cherokee, be sure to check out the review on it. Like always, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.